Hello everyone! Today we have Am I the Butthole subreddit. We have 5 stories and all of them are epic. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel because I really want to get to 150 subscribers as soon as possible. Am I the butthole for selling my home that I was allowing my daughter to stay in for free, even though she did some upgrades to it? I inherited a home years ago from my mother. It was overall outdated but in good condition. It is 5 hours away from where I live. My daughter, who is 26, and her husband fell on hard times and I allowed her to move in about 2 years ago for free. It is near the city they work at. I paid for everything and was letting them use it to get back on their feet. I informed them they can make changes to the home, just not to take out walls or any huge stuff. The last time I was at the home was about a year ago and it just looked like they painted. The house is causing issues for my finances now and I have had multiple people reach out to me to sell. I also want to sell it since I am tired of seeing the home. It just reminds me of my mom and that she's gone. So being a landlord isn't good for my mental health. So I decided to sell. I informed my daughter that they have 6 months to find a new place. This started an argument. She apparently put in a lot of upgrades, such as redoing the stairs, kitchen, and are in the middle of the bathroom. That I am screwing them over and that now the house is worth more. She called me a jerk for this, and I reminded them that I gave them 2 years of free housing. I am on the fence and I want more options. Everybody in the comments saying that there is no enough information, but I do not think so. I think the OP is not a butthole at all because she literally gave 2 years of free housing to her daughter and it is not her obligation to provide that for the rest of her life. 6 months is more than enough to find a new home and move out. Actually, I think 6 months is quite generous. If the OP feels particularly generous, they could calculate the cost of improvements to the home and then Google price of renting that house for 2 years approximately and then figure out who is in the right here. But honestly, I don't think that it is necessary. I say not the butthole. Am I the butthole for leaving my ex to sit and take care of his child and taking a business class upgrade to myself? I am 30 years old and I have been dating Matt for about a year. Matt has a kid, Alex, from his first relationship. The kid is under 2 years old. Every now and then, I used to look after Alex when Matt was at work. We don't live together, but they stay at mine every now and then. We decided to go on holiday for 10 days at the start of May, and due to some family drama, Alex had to go with us. The flights were over 8 hours long, and I have booked the tickets for all of us. During the flight and the holiday, I have spent nearly all my time looking after Alex, while Matt had the time of his life. Some things came to my attention. He was still seeing his ex, which resulted in us breaking up at the end of our stay. On the flight back, we were all sitting together and the flight attendant approached us and asked my ex if he wanted an upgrade to the business class. Before he could say anything, I have mentioned it was me who bought the tickets and used my own account to pay for them, so an upgrade should go to me. The flight attendant was trying to argue at first as she assumed Alex was my child, but I told her that's not the case and ended up having an upgrade so I can relax after spending all this time looking after Alex. After the flight, Matt, a few other passengers who assumed I am the mom, as well as some family members and friends, called me a butthole for not giving the upgrade to Matt, even after I have mentioned the flight attendant didn't say anything about Alex being allowed to join Matt. Oh, come on, not the butthole. I think it is so wrong that flight attendant is like, okay, mommy stays with baby, daddy goes to relax in the business class. Obviously, she doesn't know anything about the family situation, but just like, why not ask? Guys, we have one business class opening. Would you like to take it? Any of you can do it. Am I the butthole for telling my sister-in-law that taking care of her kid is her job? And she shouldn't expect others to do it for her. I have 2 kids, 3-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son. I am also a pharmacist and I like to spend my free time learning to play basketball. I am also learning to play the violin and learn new languages, so you see I'm pretty busy at day. My in-laws have been so supportive. My mother-in-law is an angel. She told me that it makes her very happy to see me improve myself, and she volunteered to babysit for us. She babysits whenever we ask and never asks for money because according to her, she doesn't want to get paid for spending time with her grandkids. The problem is that my brother's-in-law wife, I'm not sure what it is called in English, so I will call her sister-in-law, who is a stay-at-home mom, thinks she's entitled to the same thing. Don't get me wrong. My mother-in-law babysits for her too, but she will do it occasionally, not every day. She only has one 4-year-old son and she doesn't work and she is not interested in learning anything. Yet, she thinks mother-in-law should babysit for her every day so she can relax. Yesterday, she snapped at mother-in-law and told her she either has to babysit for both of us or for none of us. I told her that taking care of her kid is her job and she shouldn't expect others to do it for her. She called me a butthole and said it's none of my business. Well, I think OP is a butthole, and honestly, sister-in-law is also a butthole. The only one who is not a butthole here is the mother-in-law, who is really an angel. Because the fact that OP is taking an interest in so many things and the sister-in-law doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that any of them is a better person and any of them is more deserving of help with their kids. And I think OP is just afraid that they will lose a free childcare. So I say everybody sucks. Am I the butthole for telling my stepmother she's not second best because she's not in the running? My dad and my stepmother got married when I was 9, and I am 17 now. My dad and my stepmother got married when I was 9, and now I am 17. They have 3 kids together. My mom passed away when I was 8, but my parents were already divorced, and I think my dad was already dating my stepmother at that point. Either that, or they rushed the relationship because they assumed I would need a new mom because mine passed away. It was a crazy AF time. My dad and stepmother decided we needed therapy together because she was struggling and wanted to communicate some stuff to the two of us that she had not before. In therapy, she started off talking about how she feels like she's second best or a consolation prize with me. She feels like I see her less than a parent, less than a mother, and it hurts. She talked about marrying my dad, expecting we would be close, and how she believed a newly motherless child would need someone else to fill in, but that the whole time we've known each other, she feels like I do nothing but compare her to mom or dismiss her in favor of mom and leave her in second place a lot. She said she wanted to be more important to me than that. She wanted to be mom in my eyes. She didn't want to feel like I would gladly toss her aside if my mom came back. I will say now, in therapy, she was called out for that. She was told it was cruel to toss that in my face when I'm old enough to be aware my mom is never coming back. She spoke for several sessions about feeling second best or like a consolation prize, and like I don't care for her at all. She brought up how I never hug her or how I correct anyone who mistakes her for my mom. Another thing was the fact I have never said I love you to her. She noticed that and she said many times she waited and waited for me to say it, but it never came. She talked about how every mention of my mom hurts her down to her core because she can hear how much I love my mom. She admitted to hating my mom, to wanting to wave a magic wand and have me forget her, so she is not coming in second to her always. There were lots more things that too. I was asked to address what she said for several sessions, but I knew it might come across as cruel if I did, so I refused to engage. But my dad kept pressing me on the issue, and the counselor was trying to reassure me that I would not be penalized for speaking up. After a lot of pressing, and then my stepmother got involved and told me to speak up because we needed to work through this and she needed me to acknowledge her feelings and work on us coming together. I was honest. I said she was never second best or a consolation prize because she was never in the running. I never saw her as mom. I never considered her to be possible new or second mom. I never ever looked at her in that way or wanted her to be that for me. and that she was always competing against my later mom for nothing. My dad and stepmother were so angry after I said all this. 2 weeks later, and it was mentioned in therapy, but they're still furious with me. Am I the butthole? No, I am so sorry that you are experiencing this. Of course you're not a butthole. Your stepmom is a butthole and your dad is letting it happen. And I think in this situation, he should really take your side. I don't know what happened when your parents divorced. Maybe they had a lot of beef between each other. But I think that in this situation, your dad has to think about you and only you, not about his second wife. Am I the butthole for inviting my mother and her husband to my graduation and not telling them I had changed my name? I am 18-year-old female. I moved out of my mom's house and in with my grandparents 5 months ago, 2 days after I turned 18. I also changed my last name after the move, which is not something I mentioned to either my mom or her husband until now. My reason for changing my name is they changed it first. I had my dad's last name when my mom married her husband when I was 7, and they changed mine to go along with theirs. I never wanted to have his name. I told them that. But my mom told me it was so important that we all have the same last name, mostly so her husband would feel like we truly became a family, but also so he could claim me more easily and pick me up from school or dance classes or take me somewhere and not be questioned on who he was to me. I will always see it as he's trying to claim me. He said it so many times that I was his daughter and I was his kid and stuff of that nature. And it got so annoying and I never wanted to be his kid. I never claimed him back. I have always rejected the idea that he is any kind of parent to me. I hate how territorial he is. I hate how he would lose his temper with people who'd know me as dad's kid or mention I was Jay's daughter and claim me as his own instead. I told him and mom how much I hated it, and he told me he was feeding me and raising me and loving me, and that entitled him to be recognized as my dad. My dad passed away when I was 5, so that's why I wanted to still be his kid. He didn't abandon me or walk out. He loved me, and he passed away because of a stupid allergic reaction that left me without the most important guy in my life. My mom always defended her husband and told me I should show more appreciation for him because he could leave us, and would I want that? I said yes a few times and she flipped out so hard. Sometimes I think my mom wanted to send me off to boarding school so I wouldn't ruin her marriage. I know they looked into it, but they would never give me to my paternal family because they still wanted to claim me as theirs. All of this led to a crappy relationship and me moving out as soon as I could, which then led me to changing my last name back and never telling them. But I decided they could see me graduate and find out then. Only they got an email from the school with my full name on it for their tickets, and they were furious that I invited them but didn't tell them. They said I was trying to make a fool out of them. My mom's husband told me I would have left them clueless as I publicly disowned them. I told him I was doing that for years and he never accepted it. They told me I was thoughtless and petty. Am I the butthole? No, I think OP is not the butthole because OP is 18-year-old, an adult who chose to be in charge of her life. And I think it is already very generous of her to let her mom and her mom's husband attend the graduation. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also watch that awesome video or this awesome playlist. See you next time!